like to film us. If I get my guitars in the background, it looks like I'm multi-talented. I can play anything on the guitar as long as it's in G, and I've got a capo. And it's in G, 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 G. It's fantastic to be back, actually. I mean, we've been away 10 days. I know I popped back last week, but we've had such a busy time, but it's really good. God spoke to me a lot when I was away, and throughout the next few months, we'll unpack stuff through James, but also what God's doing. And I'm kind of excited with the run-up for Christmas, and then the next year. We're already talking next year, we're still in this year. But the things about church life is you've got to plan in advance. And we had a good laugh. There's some good entertainment there. I found out that Mark Greenwood's now a lot cheaper than he was. Actually, it's virtually free now because he works for Healing Direct. So we're going to look at, I've already talked about getting back for a curry night, comedy night, and stuff like that. So that should be good. But we sung a song, the last song we sung, we sang these words that there must be more than this, oh breath of God come breathe on me. There must be more than this, Spirit of God, we wait for you. Fill me anew, I pray, fill me anew, I pray. And then the chorus is, consuming fire, fan into flames of passion for your name. And in a sense, we're asking God to pour His Spirit upon us to create a passion that's within us. And yet the Bible talks about we should be passionate, and that will then release more of God. See, often we think we need to put the onus on God to release a passion in us, but God says, you stirred up a passion, and I'll release the fire. You stir up what's already in you, and I will do the rest. Paul says to Timothy, fan into flames the gift of God that was put in you. Now some people think it's a spirit or maybe a gift or gifts, but Paul says to Timothy, you fan the flames, you fan it up, you stir it up on the inside, and then God will move through you. You see, God has done everything that we need. We said that earlier. He's done everything that we need, and He's given us the Spirit of God to live in us. And the problem is that we are the ones, I am the one, that limits what God does in our lives. There's lots of verses, but there's some interesting ones in John 7. And now, considering what we've just sang and what I've just said, it's an interesting one that the Bible actually says. These are Jesus' words. He said, on the last and greatest day of the feast, Jesus stood up and said in a loud voice, if anyone is thirsty, let him come to me and drink. Now, we would all say we are thirsty and want more of God. Whoever believes in me, as the scripture says, as the Bible says, streams of living water will flow out of him. By this he meant the Spirit of God, whom later on they would receive. In John 4, he's talking to the woman at the well, and he says to her that anybody who drinks of the water I give will never thirst again. So it's interesting that we sing songs, basically, fill me anew, fill me afresh, I need more of you, God. There must be more than this, and it's so true, there is so much more. And yet Jesus said, if you drink of this water, you'll never thirst again. Now, is there a contradiction? Well, actually, no. Jesus is saying the more you want to drink, the more you can drink. Jesus is an endless supply. It's not like the bottle of pop when we were kids. The popman would come round in the lorry, if anybody does remember those days, and you get usually 3 bottles of pop and you put them in the fridge and nobody could touch them. It was like they were just there. And then we'd usually get fish and chips, chip it, and then we could get the bottles of pop out. Because once they were open, it was free for all. And in our house, there was many of us. And you'd be measuring the cups and making sure you got enough, or the same as your brothers. If you've ever been in a family with brothers, you'll know what it's like. Make sure you've got at least more, or at least not less than them. And you would want exactly the same, because there was a limited supply of pop. And for some reason, we always ended up with the pineapple flavour ones, or the odd ones that were often cheaper than the normal ones. But in God, there is no limit to God. It's like spooning out the ocean. There's an endless supply, but in God, even the ocean has a limit. In God, there's no limit. In God, it's a fountain. But He said that streams of living water will come out of you, will burst out of you. And that's often made me think, because especially if you've got an evangelistic heart, or you love your friends, relatives, and you want to see them come to Jesus, sometimes it can be hard work for us trying to witness to them. And yet Jesus seems to imply that as these rivers of living water flow out of us, they will change people around us. They will touch hearts. People will see a difference in you than what you're just trying to do. Peter was so full of God and had given his whole life to God in such a way. And you can read this at the end of John, and there's other parts throughout the Gospels where Peter really messed up. He denied Jesus, his best mate. Totally denied him 3 times. I mean, not once, but 3 times. And Jesus came to him and says to him, basically, do you love me? 3 times he asked him, do you love me? And inside Peter would have been remembering the whole thing of denying Jesus. But Jesus restored him, and Peter knew that he'd totally messed up. So that when Peter was filled with the Holy Spirit, he had already committed his entire life to God, because Jesus had restored him after his big mess up, restored him. And Peter so gave his life over to God that it talks about in Acts, that as he walked down the road, his spirit, as it went past people, so his shadow, as it went past people, would heal them. And that kind of messes up a bit of theology, because at the end of the day, you need sometimes, in Pentecostal circles, we realise that you need to do a Pentecostal hop and a dance and a bit of shabba-dabba doing over top of them before God ever does anything. And if you've not been in 6 months prayer beforehand, God won't do it. Peter just walked down the street and God just moved. Why? Because Peter had that river of living water inside him just bursting out of him wherever he went. I mean, you can imagine people looking where the sun is, which direction he's walking in, and dragging Granny across the other side of the street because the shadow were on that side. It came up the street the other way, but it dragged them back across. But the whole thing is that Peter was so full of God. Now, guys, you've got to remember that if you have messed up, if you have totally messed up, in God, God takes a broken. God takes those who think they are nothing and nobodies. God takes hold of the things that have run out of steam, and then goes, I can make something out of this. Those people who think they are somebody, then they might be, and God will just bless them, and God will be with them. But the ones who realise that have nothing left to give God, God goes, you can only imagine Jesus going, right, it's my turn. It's tag team wrestling. You've been slogging it out in that ring for ages. You've been getting your head bashed in. You've been 1, 2, and you've got back up and you just drag your claw into the side. You reach out and Jesus goes, I'll take over now. And that's when you're at the end of yourself, that's when Jesus releases that river of living water out you, and he goes, I can do it. But if you are in control of the tap, it's a tap that you're in control of. So the more of God you want, the more of God you can have. We ask for this consuming fire to consume us, but really we don't want that. When he comes, we don't really want to consume everything. Just burn up the fringy bits. At school we used to have a trick, and guys, please do not try this at home or at school or anywhere else, especially if you're under the age of 18. But as you're growing up, we used to have a competition to see who could burn the most hairs off your arms with a lighter. And you used to, and it stink, wouldn't it? And we always thought we were somebody, consuming the hand. And sometimes, some girls are getting too close, and they'd be, in those days, well, maybe in today, hair like a shh. And we get near the flame, and the head go, whoo! Now that was a consuming fire. Put it down. But we don't want God to consume us entirely because we like to keep hold of certain things. God says to me, Johnny, do you want me to pour right through it? Yeah. Well, are you going to give up CSI? Oh, I don't like it, and it is relaxing. And if you need to know how to murder someone, you've got to watch a lot of them programs, see how you can get away with it. Did I say that? Sorry, I was thinking. No. There's no patios in our garden. Nobody's underneath. But God says to us, I want to be in your life fully. Will you allow me? Not just, I've changed the phraseology that I use. I used to say, let Jesus in your heart and let him become the king of your heart. Stop saying that. I'm saying give your life totally to God now. If you mean business about Jesus, give your life to God. Because he's the only one that's going to make any good out of it. I became a Christian in my mid-teens, and I've been doing pretty well up to that point of messing my life up. So I had nothing left to offer, so God take it, and He's made something good out of it. But I've got to be careful now that I don't say, I've made something good out of my life. No, it's God that's made something good out of my life. My teachers used to say to me, Johnny, we'll come and visit you when you're in prison. You've no hope, there's nothing. They encourage me. You have these days where they come in careers days, and they says to me, we don't know. We don't know. We just don't know what to offer you, army. What about it? We'll have that one, but God wants to take us. And Jesus says, I want to let a river of living water. He says, the Spirit of God, which later they would receive. And they did later receive the Spirit of God. There's an interesting verse. If I would say John 14, most people would go straight to John 14:6. I won't ask what it says, just I don't want to put anybody on my mouth, but you'll all know it. I am the way, the truth, and the life. That's it. I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. But not many people like the idea of verse 12 of John 14. And this verse has come up about 3 times at camp. It's come up about 4 times before I went to camp on CD. And when in the car, he just threw it out. As though I'm just driving home, he just threw it out. I thought, I've got to mention it. It says this, I tell you the truth, this is Jesus speaking, I tell you the truth. Anyone who has faith in me. Now, do you have faith in Jesus? Yeah. You're all very cautious at this moment, aren't you? Because we don't know what the rest of the sentence says. But do you have faith in Jesus? Yeah. Yes. He says, I tell you the truth. So Jesus said, I'm not joking now. This is serious. This is headmaster's office seriousness. This is, you stood in front of it. He said, I tell you the truth. Anyone, so that includes ladies, if you're into the whole men business. That includes kids, children, anybody who's young, anybody who's old, anyone, and anyone who has faith in me, anybody who has faith in me will do what I have been doing. He will even do greater things than these, because I am going to the Father, and I will do whatever you ask in my name, so that the Son of God may bring glory to the Father. You may ask me anything in my name, and I will do it. Not quite nice in that. We don't like that. Because he says, if anyone has faith in me, you will do the things I have been doing. Now, what did Jesus do? Well, primarily, and this came across at camp, and so sorry, guys, you've been to camp, it's not a rerun, but he's basically said Jesus did 3 things. He preached the gospel, healed the sick, and cast out demons. He did a few other things, but that was generally 3 things that he did. Jesus went around preaching the gospel, healing the sick, and casting out demons. And he said that we will do that. So if you've got faith in God, you can pray for the sick. You can speak the gospel. And if a demon comes your way, you can just cast that out as well. That includes the youngest Christians to the oldest Christians. We all can do it. So what is, in a sense, the problem when we say there must be more than this? There must be. But it's not God is not the problem. God is not holding back on us. He did it all on the cross. Jesus opened everything up on the cross. It's a sweet shop and the doors are open. And the person's gone home. It's everything. Now, Phil's got some great stories about breaking into sweet shops. He'll tell you about them later on. But it's a case of Jesus has done everything and we've just got to tap into it. Now, there's an interesting verse in Matthew where John the Baptist says, now I come to baptize you in water, but there is one who comes after me who will baptize you with the Spirit and with fire. Now often they say fire means judgment and stuff like that, but I have to look at passion, fire in our bellies. We've got the Spirit of God, but He'll baptize us with a passion. Something that can keep us going regardless. Guys, some of us need to stir up what God's already put in our hearts. God needs to stir up something in somebody. We need to either blow some seats up or something needs to happen just to crack a smile from people's faces every now and then. But we need God to stir us up, and we need to stir ourselves up and realise that God wants to work through. Guys, if you love your neighbours, your friends, if you love your relatives, you're going to need God to do something in your life so that it impacts their life. Because you've talked to your neighbours, friends and relatives, you've told them that you're a Christian, you've told them you love Jesus, and it's not having an impact on them. You've even tried witnessing to it, but it seems not to be changing their lives. So if you can't change their lives, ask God to change your life and let your life shine the way that Jesus talks about, and then it'll have an impact. All it takes is a miracle in your life, and everybody will come and see you. All it takes is you to be on fire for Jesus, and they'll even accuse you of being a complete nutter, but they will come and check you out. They'll want to know what it is. I realised when I first became a Christian, I didn't know much at all. In fact, I didn't know, and I've said this before, I used to quote hymns and poetry or anything that sounded religious when I was witnessing to people, and they'd argue to me and say, well, what about this? I go, I don't have a clue. I'll check it out for you. But all I knew is that I wasn't, before this, I wasn't a Christian, and now I am. Before I got saved, I knew I was going to hell, and now I'm going to heaven. Actually, that wasn't really in the big equation. What I knew is I didn't know God, and now I knew God. Heaven was, in a sense, a bonus to me. I didn't really reckon on heaven. I thought everybody went to heaven. But what I actually thought when I got saved is that we could have a relationship with God before we go to heaven. Since then, I've realised it's kind of not like that. But I used to tell people I didn't know much. But what they saw in me was a passion. What they saw in me was something that I didn't have some weeks before. Joe and I, we used to get invited to barbecues, not because we're the life and soul of the party, but most of us Christian friends used to invite us because they know we'd go sit with the non-Christians and talk to them. See, when you have a barbecue and you invite non-Christian friends, what happens is all Christians sit at one side eating the veggie burgers, and all the non-Christians sit at the other side eating the steaks and growling across at the Christians. Or is it only me who's been to those barbecues? We all sit on the meat side. But the fact is, we separate into two groups. But people would invite us just so we could go and sit in the middle of the non-Christians and talk to them. You see, I don't look like a pastor. I don't know if you've checked out any of the pastors. I don't look like the typical pastor.
Don't sound like one either.
Well, I don't, you're right. And actually, I don't mind. When people say, what do you? I say, guess. Guess what I do. So we go through it all. And eventually I say, no, let's do the 20 questions, yes, no. And it's good fun. And by the time we get to, you're a what? Why is usually the next question. So it opens up an avenue for me to talk to them about Jesus. And I tell them what Jesus has done in my life. I tell them that I was, basically what I was like, how I became a Christian, what God's done for me since. But I just want to reach out to people. But we also need to be baptized, not just with the Spirit, but with fire. Some of us are more passionate about our hobbies than we are about Jesus. We're passionate about Jesus on a Sunday to a point, but when we get outside, it's kind of said, I remember going to a football match. It was a Leeds and Everton match, and I was a Leeds fan. And I went into the Everton. This is when the days where you stood up. You just all went in, or you standing. We just don't nowadays sit down. But both two of us Leeds fans in the middle of the Everton fans' cop. Dangerous place to be, but that's what we did. It was quite fun. And my friend who'd gone with us, he was an Everton fan, but he was also a church guy. And this was my friend in church, an older guy. And, the most charismatic he'd become is that were it in the song. That's it. That were him praising God and singing. Obviously, I didn't want to sing because I don't want him to leave. But he'd clap like that. We goes to the Everton match, and he's screaming and bawling, dance, jumping around, and Everton scored, and he's jumping around and poking me. This is a guy in the church that I had respect for before the match. Now he'll be mental. Then Leeds scored, so I poked him back. But then a lot of other people noticed the yellow top I had underneath. Leeds fan. And when Leeds went 3-2 up, I was going mental at the Leeds match. My mate was sulking and people were threatening me. So the police pulled me and my mate out of the crowd and took us to the other end. But the truth was, my friend was in church. I'm glad I'm saved. And then at the football match, going ballistic. Now I don't mind anybody going ballistic at football matches regardless of who you support. But when it comes to church and praising God, you see, we don't, these guys, when you're actually chanting and jumping around at football match, you're actually praising the players. Our God is better than any great footballer, tennis player, golf player, whatever. And I'm not saying sports are wrong, it's not, it's good, and it's good to watch, and except for snooker, which is just, that's as bad as chess, isn't it? Chess match. But it's okay. But God wants you to be passionate about Him first, and then passionate about whatever you want to be passionate about. You see, some people care more for their car, than they do their walk with God. They would spend hours cleaning the car and 2 minutes reading the Bible. Yet Jesus wants us to be filled with Him. There's an interesting, talk about rivers of living water. There's an interesting part of Ezekiel which is probably familiar to most. And I was reading through this and it really opened my eyes up. It's talking about the river that will flow from the temple of God when He sets up His new Jerusalem on earth. And this is Ezekiel. He's having a vision, a prophecy of what is going to be in the future. And he says, this is an angel, the man brought me back to the entrance of the temple, and I saw water coming out from under the threshold of the temple towards the east. For the temple faced east. The water was coming down from under the south side of the temple, the south altar. Then he brought me out to the north gate, and he went round the outside, and now we're facing east as the water was flowing from the south side. So this guy's got hold of Ezekiel, and he's taking him outside, basically. You always find that in the Old Testament, it takes a long time to tell you a little thing, but there's a reason why it's all there. As the man went east, as the man went eastwards with a measuring rod in his hand, he measured off 1,000 cubits, and when he led me through the water, it was ankle deep. So there's a river coming out of the temple of God, and Ezekiel said, the man led me through, and now we're ankle deep. So he's paddling just through this water. He then measured off another 1,000 cubics, and he led me through, and now it were knee deep. He measured off another 1,000 and led me through water, now it were waist deep. He measured off another 1,000, but now it was a river that no one could cross because the water had risen and was deep enough to swim in. And that it was a river that no one could cross. In other words, it was quite wide and quite deep. And I was thinking about this, and I thought, this is like the Spirit of God. You see, the Spirit of God wants to flow through our lives, that river of living water wants to pour out of us, but we just want to paddle in it. We want to play. It's fun. I mean, why did we kids, it doesn't matter what temperature it is, they will always see the seawater, paddle in it, and then what an ice cream, even if it's winter. You go to the coast, there's always some kids in the sea, isn't there, where we're all wrapped up with scarce nats on, freezing to death, they're still paddling. And the river here, it says that it was an ankle deep one, and the river of God wants to flow out of us more than just in the ankle deep section. I heard a man recently say about this, he says there's 4 stages of the river are ankle, which means where you walk, your walk. The river, it says you need to walk in the river wherever you go. Your knees, when it's knee deep, that's symbolising prayer, and you're kneeling down in prayer. And your waist, that's your reproductive area, that's your fruit-bearing section. Everything you need to commit to God is, God says that you will produce much fruit in your life. And then a swimming where you can just swim in it. But I look at this as some people want to paddle in it, and some people want to go to the knee deep. Now, even at knee deep water in a river, it can be dangerous, it can sweep you away. Then you've got waist high, and some people will go into there, and yeah, it can be a little bit dangerous and scary in there, and then there's one where you can swim. Now, if you've ever been to a river and you've seen it in full flow, you don't really want to swim in it, but this is a picture, and for me, it was almost like God was saying, I want the Spirit to flow out of you in such a way that it's not just a trickle, an ankle deep trickle, not a knee deep, but it's up to you how far you walk in it will determine how much flows through you. It don't want it just to be a waist deep, it wants it to be a river that flows through you, so you can swim in it. And this is the exciting bit, that as you carry on, reading on, it says, and then he led me back to the bank of the river, and when I arrived there, I saw a great number of trees. So trees are sprouted on both sides of this river, on both sides. On the eastern region that goes down to the Arabah, where it enters the sea. Now, a bit of a geography lesson. He's talking about going into the Dead Sea. When it enters into the sea, that's the Dead Sea, Salt Sea. Joe and I have been there. It's been a bit of fun, wasn't it? Trying to swim in the Dead Sea, you float. It was quite entertaining, not just because you can read your newspaper, but it was really funny watching people try to get out, especially the more buoyant persons amongst us had real trouble trying to get, because you've got to get your feet down and you've got to really push your feet down to stand up, because your feet just go straight back up. So people crawling out of the mud, and so it's just dead. Everything's dead. If you get it in your eyes, there's emergency things all around saying you need to wash your face with fresh water. If you drink it, there's things you drink, and if you drink too much, it will kill you. It's a Dead Sea, and not only is it Dead Sea, it's poisonous. Nothing lives in it. But it says here that in a time to come, the water will flow from Israel, it will enter the sea, and when it empties into the sea, the river that will be, the water there will become fresh. Swarms of living creatures will live wherever the river flows. That's the key, wherever the river flows. And God says to me, oh God, give me an impression about this, that as the river of living water flows out of us, when it goes into dead places, it brings life. When it flows into those homes around you, it brings life. When it flows into your family, it's going to bring life. There's death there right now. It's basically a place of poison. But if that river of living water flows out of you, it will have an effect on other people. It will just touch other people's lives. Some of you don't believe me. Let the Spirit flow through you and see what happens. I was laughing to myself. Went to the car because basically we couldn't avoid cooking when we got back from camp. So I went to Carver last night, and I'd been listening to a tape who says, they said they are so blessed that whenever they're going to a coffee shop, loads of people turn up. Whenever they're going to a store, loads of people turn up. So we goes into the Carvery, and you know we got our seats straight away. Went into there were no queue. Went straight there and got us meat and went and sat down. But as soon as we sat down, suddenly there's loads of people coming in, and suddenly there's a queue at the counter. Now those words were ringing around my head. Now I don't know if it was true or not true, but one thing I do know is that wherever you go, you take God with you. And when you go into the dead places, the Spirit of the living God goes with you. And wherever God goes, that river of living water, as it's talked about, it brings life or potential life to people. You see, you've been thinking, well, we can't really go into that situation. We're not interested. But imagine this, you get passionate about Jesus. Now, I'll put this in brackets. That doesn't mean become a nutter for Jesus. You can become nutty for him, but don't become so crazy you look like a complete weirdo, because that will drive people away. Jesus wasn't a weirdo, he was just very passionate. Peter wasn't a weirdo, he was passionate. John, the disciples, other people, they are passionate. And there's a difference between being passionate and being a complete, I want to stay away from you business. But imagine, you just stir up what's on the inside of you. You ask God, you don't need more, you need to expand more. You need to open up more. There's an interesting verse, if I can really find it. Isaiah 54, and it says this in verse 2. It says, enlarge the place of your tent, stretch your tent curtains wide, do not hold back, lengthen your cord, strengthen your stakes from camping. It's an interesting one. But really it's saying it's up to you to expand. It's up to you to open up. It's up to you to put on the extensions in your life to allow more of God into your life. Guys, there's some of you here who are mighty men and women of God on the inside. You just don't know it. Because you look on the outside and think, I am a nobody. And yes, you are a nobody. But in Jesus, you are everything he needs to change people around you. Some of you are stronger on the inside, but you don't appreciate it. Some of you are waiting for an external expression of what's going on. And God says, just step out in me, step out in faith, and I will be with you. Some of you guys are really strong on me. You've got some tenacity. Some of you women, let's put it bluntly, some of you are so timid and quiet, but if anybody had to go at your kids, you'd turn into a right bear. That's inside you. Imagine turning that passion for Jesus, turning that tenacity, that German shepherds snarl. Positively for Jesus. Digging an hole there, aren't we? Can't think of anything that's passionate without getting some teeth in it. It's like you go for a steak and somebody takes you off. It's like, come on. But some of you have got something on the inside. Now it doesn't have to be a song and a dance. Being passionate doesn't mean it's all external. I'm actually wary of people that seem to do a lot of external, but there's no consistency in their life. So I'm not talking about the song and dance, but I'm trying to encourage you to allow that river that Jesus spoke about, that river of living water to flow out of you, to touch a life. Guys, if you want to touch your families, you cannot do it. You've probably already tried. But imagine that river flowing through you into their lives. That river flowing from you, the Spirit of living God. It's the Spirit of God that draws people to God. But we need to carry the Spirit of God with us wherever we go. Now, again, into some theological things, but the fact is God's always with you, wherever you go. Whatever you try and do, and He's always there. I've said this before, I once, I got really annoyed at one point in my life. So I decided I had enough. I'm going to backslide, I said. I made a silly conscious decision. So I said, I'm going to backslide. So what do most of my backsliding Christian friends or people I know who aren't Christians do? Well, I used to work in nightclubs, so I thought I'll just go down to the nightclub. So I went into the nightclub and I walked up to the bar and I just said, can I have a Coke? I mean, that's really backsliding, isn't it? I'm having a Coke now. But Jesus was with me. Even though I thought I'd messed up, I'd turned away from God, I'd made a decision, and I'm watching all these people, some are dancing, some are just doing whatever they're doing, and I felt so sorry for them, because they were lost. But I'm thinking, no, I'm backsliding. I can't, and I'm drinking my Coke backsliding. And I'm thinking, God, you love these people. You love these people. And it was almost like he whispered, he said, of course I do. And I said, but you can't be here. You can't be here. Wherever you go, I'm with you. I'm in you. And I realised I was being silly. I wasn't really backsliding, I was just having a paddy. So I got my act together and I just started talking to people. Very loud, you couldn't really speak too much, but I just felt so sorry for them, so I started trying to tell them about Jesus. And then they thought I was totally weird. But I couldn't. I felt so sorry for him, but Jesus was with me. And He's with you. When you go to work, He's with you. When you go to an office somewhere, He's with you. When you're in study in school, He's with you. Even your youngest ones, He's with you. He never leaves us or forsakes us. But we are in control of how much of God we shine. So like Paul said to Timothy, one of the greatest pastors in the Bible, stir up the gift that God's put on the inside of you. So let me encourage you to stir it up. Now I thought we'll talk about James. Well, we're going to carry on James tonight and into next week. But I'm encouraging you to stir it up. Guys, you've got loved ones that you would desperately want to see turn to Jesus. There's people who are coming to your mind right now that you would love just Jesus to touch them, to heal them, to bring them to Him. The problem is that we are the messenger. We are the ones. And I know that most of you guys have already tried to talk to your friends, neighbours, relatives, and it's not kind of worked. But I'm going to encourage you to expand yourself on the inside, to become fully consumed by Jesus. Allow that consuming fire to take away all the dross and just to fill you afresh in a way that it's going to impact other people. You see, I used to think that the Holy Spirit came upon me so that I could look good, give out a tongue and a word of prophecy. And then God said, I didn't give it to you for you. I gave it to you for others. And Jesus said, I didn't die for me, I died for others. And whatever gifts I give to people for others. All your gifts and talents, you might look really good, but God's giving you them so you can bless other people with them. He's giving you them so that you can reach into other people's lives. I mean, with Danny on guitar, there's other musicians here. I think musicians have a real heart of touching somebody's soul just by what they play. You know, some people can sing songs that just touch into people's hearts. And that's a gift. Some of you's got talents and gifts in other areas. Some of you can help. Some of you's, you know, some of you's encouragers. Some of you's just, let's go do it. Some of you's like, I might not be the fastest runner on the field, but when it comes to the scrum, I can help push. When it comes to pushing forward, I'll stand with you and encourage you. So I just want to encourage you guys to stir up and allow that river of living water that Jesus promised to give to anybody who believes in him. And he said, if anyone has faith in me, you can do greater things than me. And Jesus, part of what he did was witness to people and proclaim the kingdom of God. Guys, you're not too old, you're not too young. You're who God wants you to be right now to make a difference. The problem is, do you want to give your life solely to God, totally to God? Do you want to just put it in there? Now, I'm not talking about getting saved. Guys, if you're not a Christian this morning, you need to put your life with God first and you need to hand it over. But I'm talking to anybody and everybody else because we all drift sometimes. I've got to say this because I don't want to sound like I don't want to bring any condemnation on anybody. But I do remember a little conversation I had last week that sometimes in God we get passionate about God and we step forward. And it's better if I could draw a picture, but we go up a level. We go up and we get to a level and then we just level out for a bit and we get to the end of the leveling out and we think, well, I've kind of gone cold a bit, but we haven't, we're still there. Analogy. You start down here, and I'm at a level, and then you think, I need to push forward in God, I need to reach it. So you go up a level, but after a while, it's like, it's back to the same stuff. But in reality, you've gone up a level in God. You've gone up. And then you think, no, I need to get more passionate about God. So you go up another level. But then on this level, it seems to be a while. You're up here for a while, and you think, I've gone cold again, but you haven't. You're still here. You've not gone back down. You're still at that same level. It's just that you've got used to it. You know, you can always tell when these plugins have got new plugins in. You walk in, it smells of apple, rose, or whatever it is. You know, whatever smells they come out with. You can tell I don't buy them, can't you? But you're walking in, the smell's there, but after about 10 minutes you can't smell it because you get used to it. So I'm not saying anybody's backsliding, I'm not saying you've gone cold. I'm just encouraging you to go up to the next level. You see, even at this level you're okay, but then there's another level to go up. And you can do that indefinitely. And I've realised this, there is so much more that God's got for us. There is so much more. We will never run out of being surprised at what God has. We've got all eternity to stand before him and asking questions. Do you think we're going to find it all while we're down here? We're just finding out. I mean, I've been married to Jo for years. And I'm discovering more and more, 22, discovering more and more things about her. She's got me pretty well sussed. But I'm learning more and more about her. And because as relationships go, you constantly learn little things. You get to know them and surprise you. In God, he's got more than we could ever dream or imagine. And he'll keep on surprising us. Even if we think we know it all, he'll just go, right, let's do this one. But it starts off with us. I'm not saying this for your sake entirely. I want you to stir yourself up so it touches the others, the people around you. And yes, by stirring yourself up, you'll have an awareness more of God, and you know God's there with you. But I want to see the day where you don't need to come to me to pray for you to be healed. Where you can say to your mountain, your illness, your sickness, be healed right now in the name of Jesus. Where you can call upon people around you and say, pray for me. I mean, I've got to be careful because you might sack me one day, but the truth is, in Jesus, he's already done it. And you can pray for yourself. I can pray for you. But I want to encourage you to stir up. Because we are a body ministry. In other words, we've all got our part to play. And if you do your part and I do my part and everyone's doing their part, we'll not just be awesome individuals, but awesome as a church. And it will have an effect on the surrounding areas, and it will have an effect on the county. And let's face it, someone says to me, what's Stourbridge Bridge? That's the dead end of the world, isn't it, Stourbridge? I goes, no, but you can see it from here, the dead end of the world. But I said, we're okay, we're doing well, God's doing some stuff. And I'm trying to keep it quiet, what God's doing. Because I want people to rise up on the inside, I want you guys to grow, and I want people to be called to the church, not just come to visit us when we hear things are going on. But I believe we're entering a season now where God wants to flow through you and me to impact people. But guys, be aware of this, that when God moves, persecution often runs with it. So as much as I'm telling you to encourage you to rise up on the inside, to strengthen yourself, to step out, to be brave, to be awesome for God, there will be persecution that comes as well. People will laugh, people may even swipe at you, people may do things, and we're living in a world now where in some places Christians are being sacked for their Christian beliefs, Christians are not being promoted because of their Christian beliefs, people are being put down, people are being left behind because of their belief. That's, that's in the West, that's not in the Middle East. Middle East, it's worse. So let me just read these verses again to you. It says, enlarge the place of your tent, stretch your tent curtains wide. Do not hold back. I love that. Do not hold back. It's up to you how far you go. It's like one of them, no, I won't go there. Cute. I was going to say it's like the dresses that people have, they've just got elastic wrapped up. So if they put weight on it, don't matter, it just gets bigger with them. We need some elastic clothes, don't we? Let's just go on the inside and talk about, not the outside. Some of us are giants on the inside and small on the outside. And that's the way it should be. Right? Lengthen your cords and strengthen your stakes. Why does he ask us to strengthen our stakes? Because the bigger something gets, the more easier it is to pick them up. We were laughing at the camp because some boys were dropping a tent and they took all the pegs out and the tent went up. So they're hanging on to it because the wind will blow in. They need to drop the tent first and take the pegs out. But here it says, strengthen your stakes, your pegs. Because you need to be grounded, not just in the Word of God, but in Jesus. You need to have your stakes in Jesus. You need to stand in firm on Jesus and on His Word, so that when persecution and when the winds of trial come, you will not be shaken. Amen. Amen. I'm shutting up now. Be encouraged. Amen. Let me pray for you guys. Lord God, I thank you, Lord, that you have such amazing thoughts towards every one of us. Lord, you've got a great plan for us, Lord. You've got, Lord, amazing things for our futures, a good future for us all. Lord, I pray right now that we will all stir our hearts up. Lord, as we step close to you, Lord, you say, come close to me and I will come close to you. Lord, as we stir up, Lord, you will stir us up. And as we stir ourselves up, Lord, you will stir us up again. Lord, help us to be passionate for you. Lord, not just for our sake, but for the ones that we care for, the ones we love, the people around us, that we may shine you, Lord Jesus, that we may touch lives and change hearts. Thank you, Lord. Amen. Amen.